Okay, hi guys. I hope that this is your last video. I hope you've made it to this video, and if you have, I'm proud of you. I love you. I appreciate you. I know that this is a lot of hard work and it's a lot of work to do on your own at home. So if you're here, great job. Well, I guess I should say if you're here on time, really great job. And this is your solutions for Can You Do It #2 on making histograms. I don't think that this video is going to be very long because I'm not really going to walk you through how to make the histogram. I feel like the lesson on that was pretty thorough, so this is basically just a place for you to check your answers and verify that your histogram looks right and compare your window to my window. So for the agility test for our fourth graders, I used an X min of 0, a max of 60, and a scale of 5. You could have done a smaller scale if you wanted to, but I was satisfied with how this histogram turned out. I labeled my axes, so this is the number of lines cleared. This is the number of fourth graders. So this would mean one fourth grader cleared between 10 and 14. This means it's looking like 11 or 12 fourth graders cleared between 20 and 24. I hope that that's 11 because I didn't quite make it to 12. This one's looking like 7-ish. 7 kids made it between 25 and 29. Now, if we weren't hand drawing this, it probably would have been a little bit more accurate. In fact, I'm wondering now what those numbers are going to be, so I'm going to check. This data for me is in list 1. I'm going to go to my stat plot. I'm going to change this to list 1, and I'm going to graph. So my window's a little bit messed up, so I'm going to adjust it to what I have on my paper. 0, 60, 5, that's not right. And my Y max, I'm going to change that to 20. And then I'm going to graph. There we go. That looks very similar to what I have. And then I'm going to trace. This is 1 student. This was 5, 11, 7, 1. Shape of the data looks pretty symmetric, meaning if you folded it in half, it lines up pretty well. This kid's unusual. I would say that this might be an outlier. I think that that's a pretty unusual spot. I don't think the data is very spread out. It's all clustered right here between 15 and 30. So that's how mine ended up for the agility test. And then for the Super Bowl, by how many points did the team win? So this distribution is definitely right skewed. There's a lot of data on the lower end, which would make sense to me because typically the Super Bowl is supposed to be the best of the best. It should be the 2 best teams playing. So you would hope that at the Super Bowl that the teams would be pretty close in score because they're similarly skilled. So it makes sense to me that a lot of the data is down on the lower end and that not very much data is in the higher margin, because like this is where one game had a winning margin between 45 and 49. Like that team got killed, whatever Super Bowl that was. So this makes more sense that the winning margin would be like the biggest bin is 0 to 4. And that makes sense to me because you're hoping that at the Super Bowl, it's 2 of the best teams playing. And so they're both fighting the entire time to take the lead. These games were probably really boring and disappointing because it's so hard to come back from being 20 points behind or 40 points behind. So this is definitely right skewed, and that makes sense to me. Lots of the data is between 0 and 20, but then you got still data going from 20 to 49. I would say the spread on this data is pretty big. I mean, if you compare it to this guy, this spread is large, especially because it's right skewed. This guy is unusual, but I would not say he's an outlier because he's not far away from the next data point. Like, there's only one gap here. He's not that far away, but this guy, he's way far away. He's 1, 2, 3, 4 classes away from the rest of the data. This one is only 1 class away. So I think that this one is probably not an outlier because he's unusual, but he's not that far away from the rest of the data. The scale that I used was 5 once again. So I went from 0 to 55, and then my scale was 5. I'm hoping that the biggest issue that you have with histograms is that your calculator is just giving you trouble and not necessarily that you are struggling with the concept. I do think it's a challenge to label your y-axis, so if that's hard for you, I can definitely understand that. I have my Super Bowl problem labeled as winning margin on the bottom, and then number of Super Bowl games on the side. I almost put for this one number of, or points. I think that I was really confused on what to put here, or number of teams. I wanted to put here number of teams, and I was getting confused. I thought like maybe this meant that 7 teams won by a margin of 5 to 9, which is true. That does mean that 7 teams won by a margin of 5 to 9. But what the problem is framing it as is the games. They're not saying for 51 Super Bowl teams. They're saying for 51 Super Bowl games. So that's how I knew to put that here. Same with our 4th grade students. 4th grade children jump. So that's how I knew to put that there. So hopefully this helps. Like I said, if you made it here, good job. Made it here on time, good job. If you made it here at all, still good job. Just do the best that you can. I think that that's it. I hope that I tell you enough that I love you, and I hope what you experience in class when we're together supports that. Keep up the good work. Try to hang in. I know this class is hard, but you guys can do this, okay? Love you guys. Can't wait to see you.